Always remember, you will never be criticized by someone who is doing more than you. You will only be criticized by someone doing less.
On my own, I did it all on my own. I did it on my own. You know, like if I'd like to thank anyone, it would be myself. Because I really, really committed to myself.
I finally thought to ask the question I should have always asked. I was like, hey mom, how do you know how to do so many different things that you've never done before and no one's showing you how to do it? And my mom puts down her screwdriver and she cocks her head over at me and she's like, Ree, what are you talking about? She's like, nothing in life is that complicated. If you roll up your sleeves, you get in there and you do it. Everything is figure-outable. And Stephen, I was just like, those words kept washing over me like everything is figure-outable. Everything is figure-outable. Everything is figure-outable. I felt like she gave me this superpower.
You never really realize how much you're growing until you're put in like uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And as much as I love and want that for myself, I know that I deserve nothing but the best. And it's easy for me to walk away from situations where I feel disrespected, no matter how big or small. Yes. And I feel like I've been learning that growth in time of being alone.
Okay, so this is how you change or upgrade your life in 6 months. First of all, this all starts with how you see yourself. What is the story that you're telling yourself about yourself? Because this is going to limit what you believe is possible for you. This is going to create this bubble and this man-made limit when you are limitless, but you already knew that. So we have to watch the story that we're telling about ourselves. Things like, I'm not creative, I'm not good with money, I'm not meant to be successful, it's for her but it's not for me. We have to watch those stories because when we go out to set a future vision for our lives that deep down we know we are capable of, and we go to create this beautiful vision of everything that we want, as soon as we start to go bigger with this dream, these limits make us fearful and make us feel like we need to make this smaller, safer, more possible. So it starts with, what is the story that you're telling yourself about yourself? How do you see yourself and what is possible for you? And this is where anytime you see somebody who has something that you know you want, instead of saying, you know, that's cool for them, but it's not for me, say this is for me, or this is possible for me, or if I feel called to this, there's a reason why this is for me, or if she can do it, so can I. Right? Now, this is where you want to surround yourself on social media and in your life with expanders. People that show you things like this are possible. Otherworldly results are possible. That $1 million business is possible, no matter who you are. And you surround yourself by more and more examples, and you start to collect evidence that just as fast as you can think you're not good enough, you can change that to believe you are good enough. And the key in all of this is belief, and sustained belief. Because belief that it is possible will change your energy and the way that you show up in your business. So if you wake up in the morning believing that a $1 million business is possible for you, you're going to have a different energy, right? You're going to show up in a different way. You're going to show up on social media in a different way because you believe it is possible. And you have decided that it is for you. And to take a decision is one of the most powerful things that you can do, because to decide means to cut off all other options. You are going for this big future vision. This is what you are focused on. And you are then taking aligned action towards it. And what is aligned action? Aligned action means every movement, every move you make is done connected to this future vision that you believe is possible. And you're doing it in a way that is following your inspired action. It feels connected, it feels intuitive, it feels right. It can be hard, it can be uncomfortable, but it still feels right. Versus aimless action, which is just being busy for busy's sake, following trends, chasing things left, right, and center, or forcing things even when they don't feel right. Aligned action is moving towards the manifestation that you want, moving towards the dream that you want, staying focused, putting your blinkers on, not letting doubt cloud your belief, because that's going to change your energy and that changes the way you show up, and that's going to change your results. So you keep taking this aligned action, believing that it is possible for you, and through this process, you become the kind of person who gets these results as a result of moving towards it. You become her, the 7-figure business owner. And the results, this visual is getting a little confusing. The results come to you because you've become it. You've stepped into and embodied and acted as if this is yours already, because it is.
The undisputed first law of personal growth is this: that people will never rise above the opinion of themselves. Work on yourself. What do you want to choose to focus on? When we commit to self-mastery, we give ourselves the best shot of becoming the best and greatest versions of ourselves that we can be. And then we get to become the example and the invitation to others. Be the change you wish to see in the world.
If you don't want to repeat the same year you lived in 2023, you're going to have to level up. So put in the work, invest in yourself, and shock them all.
Stop. Stop looking for the next video to motivate you. The fact is, you can read every single book, watch every video, listen to every single podcast, know all the information that there is to know, and it won't make a difference. What separates the winners from the losers is not the information, it's the action. It's understanding that you're going to learn far more from the action than you will from the research. It's understanding that you're going to get far more motivated by a real victory in real life than you will from any motivational video you could possibly watch. It's understanding that the real wisdom, the real lessons, the real power is found in waking up every single morning and walking the walk. Everything you think you need before you start is already woven into the journey, and you can't learn those lessons, you can't feel those emotions until you take the first step. And there's nothing I or anyone else can say that's going to supplement that. You have to find out for yourself.
These are the 5 lessons that I had to master to become an it girl. And I'm not talking about the Instagram aesthetic, superficial level of it girl. I'm talking about actually embodying the energy of a girl who gets whatever she wants, has her life together, and frankly, doesn't take shit from anyone. First of all, hi, I'm Nadia. I'm a manifestation coach, and I teach women all over the world how to manifest the life of their dreams. And having worked with so many women and having done the personal work myself, I can honestly tell you from experience, there are certain little mindset shifts that can completely transform the way that you're experiencing your reality. The first one, self-awareness and accountability. There is so much power in asking yourself, what role am I playing in my own problems? Because you are now taking ownership of the fact that you have direct control over changing the circumstances. Pointing the finger at anybody or anything outside of yourself puts you in victim mode. Victim mode implies that there's nothing that you can do to change the situation. You're powerless. Just be honest with yourself and ask the question, what role am I playing in this problem so that I can learn what I need to change to prevent myself from having to repeat the same lesson over and over again? Number 2 is self-love. A lot of us make the mistake of focusing on the relationships that we have with other people when we really should be focusing on the relationships that we have with ourselves. The way that you perceive yourself is exactly the way the rest of the world is going to perceive you. And I'm not even talking about just with relationships. This applies to work, money, the whole 9 yards. You can only attract relationships that make you feel loved when you will already love yourself first. You can only attract jobs that make you feel valued when you value yourself first. You can only attract money when you love yourself enough to know that you deserve it. Anything that you're trying to manifest, any area of your life that you're trying to create positive change in, start by try developing higher self-worth in that area first. Because of the law of assumption, that's what's going to help you attract new circumstances and opportunities that are going to reflect that higher self-worth, but it's also what's going to allow you to sustain those changes. Because when a good thing happens to you, self-love is literally the difference between cheering yourself on when it happens and self-sabotaging yourself right out of it. 3, regulating your emotions. When you feel a really strong emotion, it's probably best not to make a decision when you're in that state. Sometimes it can be really hard to differentiate between an emotion and a fact, especially if you're somebody who feels your emotions very intensely. Because strong negative emotions have a way of making us feel like everything sucks, and strong positive emotions have a way of making us feel like everything is rosy. In reality, the objective truth is probably somewhere in the middle, so it's really important to learn how to ride the wave of your emotions without really living in them. Emotions are great. They are a very powerful tool. They are helpful when it comes to understanding what's going on within yourself. At the same time, if you allow them to go unchecked, they will control you. Practice good judgment and don't let your emotions dictate every decision you make. Your girl lost track of time, so like for part 2.
It's day 1 of my journey to leveling up my life and becoming unrecognizable by the end of the year. The daily habits I want to complete every day is to make my bed, do my skincare routine, journal or make a list of 3 to 10 things I'm grateful for, drink 3 liters of water a day, 1 glass right when I wake up, work out or walk for at least 30 minutes a day, and read 10 pages of a self-development book. I'm also going to complete a task from my level up checklist. Today I'm cleaning my desktop, emails, and my phone. I love the feeling when I have everything organized and cleared. It gives me that feeling of starting fresh, and I love that especially on the first of the month. Today I was able to complete all my daily habits and check off a bigger task from my level up checklist. So I'm feeling pretty great so far. I'll just be taking one day at a time, and I'm really excited for those of you who are also doing this with me. I hope you all had a successful day too. If not, there's always tomorrow. Bye.
This part of my life is called peace.
She is working on 3 things right now: herself, her life, her peace. Do not disturb.
Don't ever give anybody enough power to bring back the triggered, unhealed version of you.
If you're someone who's really interested in the concept of how to live a happy life, not just in little spurts and moments, but like actually live a happy life, constant happiness, then you need to read this book. And let me just tell you this right now, because this book, I have never read a book so fast in full. Like, I literally have a bookmark in here and there's like 5 pages left. It's so good. I read this in like a couple of weeks. The Courage to Be Disliked. It's such an interesting concept too, because it's basically a dialogue between a philosopher and his student. And it's just like this interesting dialogue, because as I'm reading this book, I'm thinking like, wow, I've definitely thought like on both sides of these people, like the perspective. My life has changed already since reading this. I just look at things differently. Like your relationships, your friendships, it's basically about this idea that everything, all of your problems stem from your relationships. Like whether that's a relationship to self, to your family, to other people, to your past traumas. It's literally about how to actually have a happy life despite all of those problems. I love to read books, but this one is honestly like hands down the best book I've read my entire life so far.
Whatever they decided I couldn't do is exactly what I did.
Lazy people are lazy because they're addicted to comfort, whereas discipline is the addiction and the obsession with discomfort. Discipline is all to do with your brain, and your brain is addicted to comfort because it's constantly in survival mode. Your brain is constantly running on the process of scanning things for danger in your environment. So if anything gives you anxiety, if anything seems difficult or is worrying you, it's going to give you all these difficult emotions, which is going to prevent you from going out to do that task. As a result, you no longer step out of your comfort zone to do things that are unfamiliar or uneasy. So really, it's as easy as ignoring what your brain is saying to you because you understand that it can't help but feel terrified at the thought that this is an unfamiliar venture that we have never done before. You push past that feeling and you try it anyway. And even though it's going to be really hard and you're not going to enjoy it and it's not going to be easy, once you've done it, your brain now has that little bit more of tolerance. That means the next time you have to do something that's outside of your comfort zone, your brain is a little bit more on your side. You go out and you do it anyway.
going to do.
If you don't like this current version of yourself, change. You are not set on stone. Reinvent yourself. Change your looks, your friends, your mindset. You are free to become whoever you want to be.